Hey everyone, and welcome to another bi-monthly pickups. This is for the second half of April, and it's all the anime, manga, everything else I got for those couple weeks. Yeah, so rather than dally, let's just get started. So, I'll start with manga. There's quite a stack here, but hopefully this video shouldn't be too long. So first off, I got the omnibus of Neon Genesis Evangelion Campus Apocalypse. This is kind of a reimagining of Evangelion. It's written by and the art is done by Ming Ming, but the actual, obviously, inspiration is from Kara and Evangelion in itself. This is originally a 4-volume series released by Dark Horse, so they just put it into one very thick book, so you can read the entirety of the series just in one shot. Personally, I hadn't read this before, but I was kind of interested. I've heard good things about this volume or this series, just because there's a lot of reimaginings of Evangelion and sort of alternate universes and things, but this one really does kind of have its own very unique setting and setup. So even though it's the same characters, same basic idea, it's not completely the same. I did read this, so I've read it and since kind of had time to process it. It's quite interesting, especially if you want to kind of get more of a feel of some of the characters, especially Kaoru. So it's certainly something to try if you're a fan of Evangelion. The release itself is roughly the same size as most Dark Horse omnibuses. It still has I'll see if I can find it, the color pages in here from the individual volumes, so you know which volume is which. And at the very beginning we do get all the covers as color pages as well, so you're not missing any of the artwork that was in the original releases. Yeah, so if you have things like Kurosagi Corpse Delivery, I think that's really the only other omnibus I can think of. It's roughly the same height as that, so a little bit shorter than your general manga volume. Similar to Orange or Mysterious Girlfriend X as well, if you are collecting those series. I know a lot of people aren't fan of omnibuses or omnibi because of the spine bending, but I really didn't have a problem with that at all. This one really opens very well without you feeling like you're going to snap the spine at any point. It's very, very easy to read despite being such a thick book, which was a surprise for me personally. So yeah, if you're wanting to get the series, it's really up to you whether or not you want the 4 volumes or this. I don't think there's really a downside to buying this one. The paper quality isn't any worse than a typical manga volume, and it's not really kind of lazily put together like a lot of people complained with Kurosagi Corpse Delivery. It is kind of more just the getting the whole story in one shot and being able to enjoy it as a whole, while still maintaining the level of release of the individual volumes. So, yeah. Next is the 3rd volume of Horomia by Hiro and Daisuke Hagiwara. This one is one of my favorite ongoing series at the moment, released by Yen Press. I recommend it if you haven't started it. It's kind of it's a romantic comedy, but it does both sides very, very well, the romantic side and the comedy side, which I think is a little bit unique because a lot of series either like really push on the romantic side or really push on the comedy side. Excuse me. So, yeah, Volume 3 is really good. We're finally getting some development with the characters on both sides, again with the romance and the comedy. So, just more of the same, and that's really, really good. Next is a Kodansha release, and that is volume 13 of Noragami by Adachi Toka. This obviously is a fantastic volume. I'm a really big fan of Noragami, so I definitely recommend it. I'm looking forward to volume 14. Not much to really say at this point about Noragami. If you're not reading it, you should be, and the story development is just phenomenal in that series. Next is a vertical book. It's a one-shot called The God's Lie by Kaori Ozaki. I haven't really read any of Ozaki's other works, but I have heard that she's very good at what she does. This volume is really not exactly what you would expect, I don't think. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a less depressing Asano work, Inyo Asano. So that might get some people interested. It's very bittersweet. It's a coming of age story, sort of. Takes place within one summer of these two kids' primary school or elementary school lives, and kind of how they really meet each other and develop and that sort of thing. It's very interesting. It also gives me kind of, if people watched anime from last season, Erased, that show, it has sort of that vibe as well. Nothing kind of the same level of supernatural elements to it, kind of, but it does have that sort of melancholy tone to it that I think that show does very well. So yes, The God's Lie is actually very interesting. I do recommend it. It's a great all-in-one story. It's only 5 chapters long, and just really, emotional hit. So if you're a fan of that sort of series, I definitely recommend you try it. Next is Volume 6 of Tokyo Ghoul, obviously being released by Viz Media. Yeah, we're almost halfway through the first series, or the original Tokyo Ghoul. This is finally at the point where the manga and anime kind of change from each other. I don't really remember the anime that well. But very interesting stuff. So if you're a fan, obviously you should be expecting, or I expect you should be picking it up anyway, but Tokyo Ghoul is certainly a kind of interesting spin on a shonen series. Next is a light novel, the only light novel I got for this month, and that is the 17th and final volume of Spice and Wolf, called Epilogue, which, as its name implies, is the epilogue to the entire series. It's a bunch of short stories, kind of concluding a bunch of the characters' arcs and that sort of thing. It's finally over. I haven't read this one yet, but I'm certain that I'll love it. It's been such a wonderful ride reading Spice and Wolf. It's definitely a very different sort of light novel. And I do recommend it if you're tired of the same old story tropes that you generally see in light novels. Next is all the rest of the manga are omnibuses that you know the word I'm trying to say, and that the first is Monster Volume 8 by Naoki Urasawa, the penultimate volume. So Volume 9 is the last one of the series. Viz obviously has been releasing this, a great classic series, classic seinen, and really one of the best. Yeah, not much to say about that aside from, if you're a fan of Monster, definitely pick it up. It's probably the best release we can expect from it. Not that Viz has done anything overly fantastic to it since the original printing, but it does have some fun extra color pages, that sort of thing as well. And it's just a phenomenal story. I do recommend it to seinen fans in general. So hopefully you try it or pick it up, because it is definitely worth the price. Plus, it's almost over, so you'll be able to read the entire thing very, very soon. Next is a Yen Press omnibus, and that is volume 4 of Emma. Again, the penultimate volume to the series. The actual series, or the actual story arc of Emma's, the story itself, that's the words I'm looking for, has finished in this volume. It finished in volume 7 of the original releases, so halfway through this book is the ending point for the proper story of Emma, but it does have 3 volumes worth of side stories and extra content, so that's what we will also get. So yes, I've read it, it's phenomenal. Obviously pick it up if you're a Mori fan. And finally, for manga, I've gotten 4 volumes of the same series, and that is volume 2, volume 4, volume 8, and volume 9 of Vagabond. So I now have volumes 1 to 9 of this series. I'm still needing the final 3, or the next 3 that they have out, but I'm not in any rush to get those. I did only pick up Vagabond because it was part of the Viz 50% off sale and here in Australia for Madman. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading it whenever I kind of find the time and get around to it. Next is anime. There's a couple things here, some different unusual releases, so hopefully there's some things you might not have seen before. First of all is something that I was waiting for months for in the mail, just arrived, and that is Darker Than Black, the Blu-ray premium edition. The only reason I got this is for the discs. I will be switching it out, but the art book, the cards, that sort of thing is like a nice little extra, but nothing too fantastic. Next are, actually all 4 of these are technically imports. The first 2 are Santa Company and Klobukoro. Klobukoro, sorry. Which were kickstarted little OVA sorts of things. I invested in the second one, Klubokoro, I don't quite know what that word is, and got Santa Company as part of my pledge. I'm interested. I've heard they're not fantastic, but I'm always interested in that sort of thing. So, yep, they're Blu-ray and DVD releases in that, with English subtitles and a bunch of other different subtitles as well. Especially on Santa Company, I know they had like 3 or 4 different subtitle tracks. Next are 2 shows that were on the same block, but aired different weeks because they're only 4 episode series. The first one is Tabimachi Late Show, which is like I said, 4 episodes about different types of journeys. Almost, it's very interesting little series. I do really think it's so heartwarming. Like, it doesn't have any fantastic animation or anything, but it's only a 5 or 7 minute show anyway. So it doesn't have to be phenomenal, but it really is like emotionally genuine. It's quite interesting in that regard. So yeah, it wasn't too expensive. I think like 1,500 yen for this, or 2,000. So like quite cheap. And obviously Amazon Japan shipping is fantastic. So yeah. And then the other one, which is another part of that block, is the the fifth Konodan series, or part of the franchise, which is this boy is a professional wizard. So that's what that looks like. Again, it's broken up into 4 episodes, about 7 minutes each. The original Konodan episodes are usually about 30 minutes, so accumulatively this is the same length as this boy can fight aliens, this boy caught a merman, this boy suffers from crystallization. So this is the 4th video sort of thing, animated project for this franchise. They do also have a drama CD, I think, which obviously I can't really enjoy because I can't understand it. But yeah, this is probably, if you're a fan of the Konodan series, you'll be happy with it. It's more of the same, really. And then finally is actually a CD. It's the ending track to the 2nd season of Haikyuu. It's actually the 2nd ending track. And of course, with so many of these sorts of things, it has the exclusive cover or slip on there, and then the disc itself, or the CD itself. So that's everything. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye till then.